Okay, so, I'm looking at this over here. And at one point, these questions I collected over the years, sometimes from just research I was doing. Um, and some of the research I do was, in other countries, I often, look at questions and, sometimes these are rather nationalistic. They publish questions they ask their students. And my own experiences with this is that I've actually looked, even in the United States, sometimes I'll visit high schools and I look through their curriculum guides, and the curriculum guides are, they're really fantastic. I mean, they're writing down things they're doing with their students that are just, I mean, they're actually great. I mean, if this were really happening in the high schools, the students coming out really prepared. But then you kind of look at these curriculum guides, and you start to realize that what's on paper may not be reality. In other words, what they're saying they're doing or not doing. So what you really should be looking at is not what they say they're doing, but you should be looking at what are the outcomes, right, of what they say they're doing. Now, this is another problem. Oftentimes, you're looking at like a Tim's study where you're seeing that, one group of students is doing much better than another. And what sometimes you're doing is selecting a bias sample. All right. What do I mean by a bias sample? They're selecting the best students to take the exam. Of course, they're going to do better than just from a random sample. All right. But in my recollection, these were a series of questions that were given, I believe, in Britain. I was very impressed with the exam, by the way. They were given to their high school students. But by the way, when I say given high school students, these are a select group of high school students in Britain. All right. So in the UK, this was an exam, or at least part of it. I thought to myself, man, it was a really good exam. I mean, it was really tough questions, and they were the best prepared students in the UK. Students that are preparing for careers in the STEM related careers, and it's by admission, right? So they're getting into these top notch UK universities by admission, right? And they're taking a test, a math test, all right. And by the way, these were only some of the questions. I looked it over, and I struggled with the questions. There's no doubt about it. I looked at them. Certainly I'm not preparing for their exams, so I looked at it, and I thought really tough questions. Certainly I wrote some of the solution sets up, but then what I looked at was they also published the outcomes, and it was shocking that the scores are really low. All right. Now, by the way, I'm not saying that there were poor students. What I'm saying is, some of the students, they might have been very good students. They just probably didn't prepare for this type of an exam. All right. It takes preparation to prepare for these exams every year. Tremendous studying. Like you'll often see in South Korea, that students will spend 12 years to take their entrance exams to get into university. All right. The complete opposite of the United States, by the way. We're much more liberal, and we're not so, we kind of get away from tests, which I think is a misfortune, by the way. We're saying, oh, just anybody can do it. That's not true. All right. It does take a lot of preparation to do, be top quality on it. But anyway, I was somewhat relieved when I saw that, the students taking the exams weren't doing so well with this. Now, do some of the students? Of course they do. When they look at these questions and they're barreling through these, but what they do, they not only publish the exam, but they publish the outcome, and the graders talk about what students are having trouble with. By the way, I've only selected some of the questions, only some of the questions. All right, I didn't do the whole test. I just did some of the test. The test was long. It was tough, and I'm not sure how much time they were given, but they were given these questions over here. So what I did was I just basically just took some of their questions. Um, they did show some of the scratch work the students were doing. Just like I'll be honest with the United States with the the AP exam, advanced placement. Sometimes they'll publish what the student outcomes are. Now you have to realize when they're doing that AP exam, they're not publishing raw scores. But there are students on the AP exams that are getting 100%. But what they're doing is this. There's a large number of students taking that exam, and they're partitioning the students into groups. Best group, next down, next down, next down. And I believe they're put in 5 groups, all right? So, yeah, the 100%ers get it up here. They're definitely here. But so are the students maybe getting 60%, 50% of the questions correctly. Now, again, I don't know their distributions, and that's one of the complaints I have in the United States. It's a private industry doing that. If anybody should be doing that, it should be the government. What they should be doing is assessing all students equally across the board. All right, all students equally across the board into admissions into the top schools. And unfortunately, in the United States, it's all private, 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 and that's why I think for the most part we have trouble, putting people properly placed. All right, everything's private. Our testings are private. Yada yada yada. But it would be nice to have national standards where people are being judged on those national standards. All right, but anyway, look over the test. Right, I do make an emphasis over here. Look over it, read it. You can look at my work the way I did it. I'm not under time pressure. I'll be honest with you. I'd hate to be under time pressure in this over here, but I go through it. I go through what I would do for those questions over here. I read the question. I try to write up solutions to the question as I would do it. Does it take me time to do this? Yeah, it takes me time. Will it take you time to get through these questions? Yeah, it's going to take you time to get through the questions. But the bottom line is read it, get through the questions, try to understand what they're giving you over here. All right? Now, I got to put a lot of work down over there. Again, these students are given this test, paper and pencil. They don't see the questions beforehand. They're studying questions, though. They have a curriculum they study from that everyone in I believe, in the UK is studying the same curriculum, that are preparing themselves to enter a university-level education that is in the STEM-related careers. And this is a test in mathematics that is judging based on that. And it's not unlike an American curriculum, I don't think, but they do have standards that are across the board. Where in the United States, we do not have standards. We do not have standards. I mean, it's all over the place. It's amazing when you're testing students coming out of some high schools that when you're testing them, they're really not at grade level. All right, they're not at grade level. All right, you might test them, and they might have taken. Believe it or not, we have students. I teach at a college that have taken an AP exam, but when they're taking a basic skills test, they're placing at the lowest level of algebra. And by what I mean lowest level, I mean stuff where they're talking about arithmetic first, and then they talk about using symbols and stuff to represent arithmetic. And that's kind of amazing if someone was in high school and they were taking AP Calc, that they don't know the basic level stuff. And again, I really think the reason for that is we don't have national testing. We don't even have statewide testing. What I mean by that is some kind of metric to measure people. All right? Now, granted, there's some reasons why we don't do that, but it sure would be nice if we had some national metric. It's not going to happen in my lifetime, by the way, but it's something to fight for. All right, something to talk about. There's a lot of resistance to it, though. These are tough questions. I just selected some of those. But again, my recollection, I just picked these up over time just by reading over different, things that students are doing around the world. It can't hurt to look at stuff, what other people are doing. But again, I want to advise you this. You can look at what they're doing by their test, but you do not know how the students are performing on those tests, including if they say, oh, they're all doing well. You don't know that. You don't know if those students are doing well. The only way you would know they're doing well is if you actually saw the outcome assessment. And here's the deal. Even on outcome assessments, there could be a lie in that as well. All right? They could be lying about that. They could be saying our students are doing well when they're not doing well. It's nice to have honest metric assessment. All right? It really is. Not biased samples. You're actually measuring everybody, determining where everybody is sitting in the grand queue of academic careers. All right? But anyway, this is, question and answers from section 3.5.2. If you have any comments or concerns, you may want to reach out to me. My name is Bannon, and my email address is also Bannon. That's B as in boy, the @ NNON.US. Again, if you want to reach out to me, please feel free to do so. However, if these things become popular and I can't answer emails, because there's too many emails coming in, just realize I can't do it. All right? I don't see these videos becoming popular, by the way, though. All right? But again, I realize I scroll through this pretty quickly and say, how can I get those questions? Email me. At some point, I'll probably publish the questions so you get them. All right? But right now, these questions are being shared with these people. That's all the people that have access to these questions at this point. Again, please feel free to reach out to me. And, I'll be talking about when I'm going to publish this document too. There's a lot of documents that I do have published, and a lot of documents that I don't have published. I just share them with my students, or I just share them with with certain groups like the Prison Mathematics Project. But anyway, thanks for paying attention. I really do appreciate it. Thank you.